Are you ready for what is likely to be the most confusing game explanation in this series? We'll start where I came in. Jack Nicklaus Championship Golf, which was released as a cue card in 1989. That version might have been developed internally by the original computer games publisher, Accolade, but I also found a source claiming it was developed by Beam Software, and some of the work was definitely done by the Japanese developer Advanced Communication Company. The important thing is, we've already had a port of the popular computer game Jack Nicklaus's Greatest 18 Holes of Major Championship Golf. That game was sold in the US as Jack Nicklaus Turbo Golf. Well, now it's a year later, and here's Jack Nicklaus's World Golf Tour, which was the first and only PC Engine game developed by Sculptured Software, a US-based developer who made more licensed games in the 90s than I can shake a stick at. It is a totally new port of Jack Nicklaus's Greatest 18 Holes of Major Championship Golf, and of course it includes all of the expansion packs, and there's a lot more of those than you might think, because they have the CD-ROM. And for any kids watching the channel, expansion packs are what they had before DLC. You didn't see them on consoles, but on computers you'd buy another disc that would give you more game. This version of the game was also released in the US as Jack Nicklaus Turbo Golf. They just put a sticker on the box indicating that it was a CD-ROM game. So what we have here is two different ports of the same game released on the PC Engine, but sold in the US under the same name. Everyone caught up? Good. Now that I've spent 2 minutes explaining that, I need to quickly go over who Jack Nicklaus was and why he deserved two PC Engine games, or two ports of his computer game. Although retired by 1990, there's a good case to be made that Jack Nicklaus was the greatest professional golfer of all time. He still holds the record for the most wins in the major championships. As his golf career was winding down, he transitioned to designing golf courses, and was just as good at that as he was at golf. So when Accolade decided they wanted a big name to attach to their new golf game, Nicklaus was the obvious choice. And that computer game was a smash hit. It launched an enormous franchise, and so naturally there were ports to consoles. Okay, so what is different between Jack Nicklaus's Greatest 18 Holes of Major Championship Golf and Jack Nicklaus's World Tour Golf? Well, the visible changes mainly come down to the wrapper. Totally new menus, voiced introductions to each hole, not Jack Nicklaus in the Japanese version though, and a few additional features like a putting green. The biggest thing is what the subtitle tells you. There's 162 holes, and that's 9 courses. The courses can't use their real name, but other than the 18 assorted holes course that was in the original release, they're all real-world golf courses. For most of my playtime, I was playing against Jack Nicklaus on the Royal course, according to the game, which I believe is a stand-in for the Royal Troon golf course. And just in case you think golf is for stuffy old white guys, I will have you know that the Royal Troon golf course voted to allow women to play all the way back in 2016. So you can see how progressive they are. Funny enough, the video game could call the event the British Open, because the British Open isn't the real name of the event. As for changes to gameplay, well, there's virtually none. Sculptured Software ported the IBM PC version to the PC Engine, which is exactly what the first developer did, whether that was Accolade or Beam Software. As a result, everything looks almost exactly the same. If you look really closely, you can find some differences between the character animations. And that means the weird blocky interface, the EGA graphics look. EGA was a PC graphics standard that allowed for 16 colors. And painfully slow drawing routine all come through exactly like the original. That routine where it slowly fills in vertical slices of the course is actually fairly complicated since it can render any view of the course that you like, but it is so painfully slow. I timed it, and the CD-ROM game is actually 3 seconds slower in rendering the visuals than the HuCard version. That's not due to CD-ROM load time either. The game loads the graphics set in when you select the course. You might notice that there is a little bit more detail in the CD-ROM graphics, but not because it's a CD-ROM game. Instead, it's just got the improved art that came on the expansion packs for the PC game. To get into how the game feels to play, well, that's the same as before, and it's not as good as contemporary golf games on consoles. The flat, static view makes aiming your shot weirdly difficult, especially when you're putting. Your swing works the same way that it does in most golf games. Hit button 1 to start the backswing, button 1 again when you've got the power you want, and button 2 at the base when you want to connect with the ball. If you go into the red zone, then your shot's more likely to go wild, and you have to be dead on at the bottom of the swing, otherwise the ball is going to hook or slice quite a bit. You can't adjust the spin on the ball, so no top spin to make it stop short, or bottom spin to make it roll further. And it is very difficult to tell slopes in this game. Everything's rendered flat with the same shade of green, so you don't know that you're taking a shot uphill. The solution on the green is to include a little meter showing you the break, which basically replaces the wind, but it still doesn't work very well. The indicators for telling you how your shot's going to go just aren't that effective. Now, considering that this is a sports game released on the PC Engine CD-ROM, I managed to find one person who had anything to say about it. Also, the only reason that this isn't the most popular video online about this game is because there's a US version, and so those people get a few thousand views. Anyways, that one person who played it and had something to say didn't like how slow the graphics were drawn in. And that's everything that they had to say about it. My views are going to fall pretty much the same place as they did for the original game. The computer game is a historically important title. The console ports, you don't need. The best thing here is the course selection. At this point, most golf games were using courses that they just drew up for that game. So having real-world courses, even if they had to disguise the names, was a pretty cool feature. Unfortunately, the golfing itself is pretty bad. So Jack Nicklaus' World Golf Tour fails at the most fundamental task of a golf game. If you want a taste of the history, play the computer game. You can skip this CD-ROM version.